Hi, so today we're going to do the Greek alphabet, and basically, I'm just going to quickly talk about like this, call this the pre alphabet lecture. So, I'm basically going to give you tips of how to approach this, and it's going to be particularly simple. So, from your math and from everything that you've done over the course. Oh, okay, I'm assuming that we have gone to some sort of formal education, but if you haven't, it's still fine. Um, the language that you use in your mathematics is the same that you will figure some words like pi, the symbol we use for pi, translating to p, is the same. So you find that sigma, the sigma sign meaning in maths for all, these are the same things. Basically, mathematics, computer science, logic, they use the Greek alphabet already. So you probably have in the back of your head the alphabet. You just don't know that they use the Greek alphabet, right? So in my experience, when Dr. McClymont started teaching me, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I know this symbol. So I started by learning the symbols that were familiar first, which I didn't really need to learn because we called them what they are. So it wasn't that they were called the, for example, pi. Pi is pi, and that's the same thing. But then sometimes I guess it depends. So here in America, they call it phi, but in Zimbabwe, we called it pi, right? So I guess it's just a matter of what you call it, but it's the same thing. That's what I'm emphasizing. So whether you want to call it phi or pi is up to you. Um, Moving on. So you say it as it is. So when I'm going to teach you this alphabet, you'll find that some words come together. So for example, ps will be PSI, and that's how you pronounce it, and that's how you write it. So you'll find that some of these words are literally the same. Like probably we're going to write a simple word like alpha, or maybe we're going to write a simple word like Abraham. You'll find that the English version or spelling of it is probably usually the same as the Greek transliteration of it. So it's going to be fun, super fun, starting to um, write down using the alphabet that I'm going to teach you, starting to write down the words. So there's a special character, so that's what I told you about the sigma sign. So sigma, when it comes to small letters, when it's at the end of the sentence, it's a different sigma, which is almost like a C with a tail. But when it's in between the sentence or at the beginning of the sentence, if it's not capital letter, so it's like an O with a slant. And so you just want to remember that sigma is special. And then you might want to download maybe a Greek um, chapter of like the Old Testament, the New Testament. So it was written in ancient Greek. So it'll be fun once you start. So first and foremost, you want to start transliterating maybe the first line, you put that down, and then you start transliterating, and I'll show you what transliterating is. And then we'll move on to maybe you want to start reading. Because when I was reading, the more you read, you won't even need to transliterate anymore. You can read in Greek. You can read the symbols, and then you'll be like, oh my God, this is so cool. I'm so cool. I'm so intelligent. And the more you feel confident and intelligent, the better you can tackle anything, right? Um, so I'm super excited about this. The next one, I'm just going to turn the camera to the other side, and then we'll get started on the alphabet. So what I'm going to do is teach you the alphabet and show you what I do. And I've just given you all the tips. This is basically what I did. You're just going to have to invest in it. So first and foremost, learn the alphabet. And it has 24 characters. So what you want to do is, it depends on the person really. I like progress. So the more I get, the more happy I am, the more I want to work on it, right? So you might want to start with the easy ones, because iota is I. Lambda is the L. These are not so different in the English version of it. So if you use another version of epsilon, is almost like an E. It's just weirdly written. But yeah, so use, if you're Chinese or Russian or Korean, you might want to start. You might understand this better because of your alphabet. So whichever way works for you, that's pretty much what I'm trying to say to you. Because when I learned Latin, I used a different approach from when I learned Greek, and I had a super awesome teacher, Dr. McClymont, who, like, I had no surprises. I do not like surprises. So he would tell me that this thing is special before I went home, and that's the more I could do. Like, he would tell me about the next chapter, like red flags, and then when I went home, I would do that chapter that we did, the homework he assigned, and the rest of the homework. So I always did everything, and then I would go to the next chapter. And then if we're doing like tense, then I'll do everything, and then he would mark. Well, he's a particularly awesome person, but he has his way of doing stuff, so he always uses a pencil. So I started using a pencil as well. So that was kind of fun. He never uses a pen, but it was fun in the sense that you correct. I would erase it out and then correct it right away, and then by the end of the week, I was so confident. I was using a pen, and he had a black pen or a pencil with him, and he would mark the stuff in pencil or in black pen, and it would be weird to show anyone, because they'll be like, "You did this yourself," but like, we did the entire Koine Greek in a month. Can you believe that? Like, he's so awesome. He's so dope. He moves like lightning. Like, when we started, he just told me the Greek alphabet, wrote it down, I wrote it down, told me to try to transliterate by the next lecture, and that was just in 1 hour. And then by the next lecture, he also gave me homework in terms of lists of words, easy words like Abraham. That's why I kept telling you Elohim. Yeah, so easy words that I started working on, and then it's words that I already know because I have a Christian background, but you don't have to. There is like words like glory, like there are words that don't need any religious background for you to know. But like, it got interesting when I was transliterating, and then when we started doing the tense and present, past, and everything, it was like we started moving faster and faster each lesson, because what it takes is pure practice. But the first and foremost part of it is learning the alphabet and then transliterating. Once you can transliterate, you can read the transliteration under or on top, wherever on the page. Now, when you download the Greek Bible or chapters, what you want to do is get a notebook or something, or use your iPad, whatever you use, and then copy it down somewhere, and then start transliterating, right? Because you need the extra space. But once you get confident in your retention of the alphabet, you can start trying and you'll be shocked at how fast you'll be able to read Greek. And then that will impress you to the extent that you want to read and understand. So those words that are not so intuitive, you would look up and then find what they mean. And then before you know it, if you read Matthew, by the time you are done with Matthew, you'll be able to understand most of the rest, like Mark, Luke. You'll be able to understand those without much reference to their dictionary, right? It is my hope and pleasure and honor to one day, that's why I'm really, really doing this, to be able to read the Greek Bible or maybe a chapter, but like if he has the time, I will read as much as he is willing to listen to in Greek so that he knows he didn't waste his time on me. Because like it's easy to forget. So I just felt like, whoa, this person, like they saw me reading, understand, they were like, do you really understand that? Where are you from? Okay, first and foremost, it was stereotypical in the sense that they asked me where I'm from. And then once they knew I was from Africa, they were impressed. They were like, okay, so you're like from Egypt and you talk, like, they wanted to know like if my alphabet was like that, or maybe I grew up somewhere else or something of that sort. I was like, no, I use the Roman alphabet. And actually, I grew up speaking partly English and like, so, and then eventually they got to the chase and they're like, so do you understand what you're reading? Like, I was like, what? I waste my time reading the Bible and not understand it, or even stare at something that I can't even read.